Hey everyone, well, Playground Games have done it. They have managed to blow me away with this latest dev stream on Horizon 5. You guys know, if you're familiar with the channel, I generally keep things pretty level-headed around here, but this is a level of excitement I have not felt for a game, let alone a Horizon game, in a very long time. So let's go ahead and jump right into everything that's new in Forza Horizon 5's car audio. Now, if you don't already know, Horizon 4's car sounds are a bit of a sore spot for the community, but you can put those worries to rest because Horizon 5 is sounding amazing. Just for starters, and you're seeing this on screen right now, they recorded 320 new engine sounds for Horizon 5. 320. Now, of course, they've learned a lot from Horizon 4, and I'm sure their recording methods have improved and refined. However, getting a good car recording is only half the battle. Putting it in game and making it sound just as good is, of course, the other half, and that is where one of Horizon 5's biggest improvements lies. Every single car sound in Horizon 5 is built using a system called granular synthesis. So, of course, what does this mean? Well, the old system would take car samples from, let's say, each 1,000 revs, so 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and so on, and then it would be able to loop those back and simulate the entire rev range. It wasn't super accurate, some cars wouldn't sound right or would sound kind of computer generated, and on top of that, the sound for revving up would be the same for the sound revving down, which, as you probably know, is not the case in real-world car sounds. Now, with this new granular synthesis system, you aren't splitting up the rev range into, say, every 1,000 revs, you're splitting it up into every single engine rotation. So you don't end up with a handful, maybe 10 or so samples to take from. You have thousands of sound samples from every point in the rev range, revving up and revving down. Not only is this obviously going to make the cars sound way more accurate, way more alive, and less computer generated, apparently, since the system runs at 90 frames per second, the cars just feel more responsive because you're getting that audio feedback from your throttle input way sooner than you would in previous games, and that is actually awesome. Alright, so already we know the cars are going to sound way more lifelike, but something that helps a car sound feel lifelike is how it sounds in the environment it's in. And Horizon 5 has knocked that one out of the park as well. What they've used, and I actually didn't know this is possible, but they've used ray tracing to effectively scan all the objects and environments in their game and give each and every object and environment location in the game its own unique sound profile. Every area and object in Horizon 5 is going to reflect and bounce and absorb audio differently. So if you're screaming down the highway right next to a cliffside, you'll hear the car's audio bouncing off that stone wall. Same with the city streets, it's going to feel different than driving through the desert. That is incredible and is just going to add so much life to the entirety of Horizon 5. Okay, so if that wasn't enough to get you guys excited, we haven't even gotten to the best part yet. But I do want to take a minute here to appreciate how gorgeous Horizon 5 is looking. I mean, just look at these environments. The grass density, the contrast, the sky and the way it's reflecting off the car. This Lambo driving through the night, you can see the stars and the fireworks from the festival in the distance. Guys, Horizon 5 is looking and sounding amazing so far. But like I said, we haven't even gotten to the best part of the car sounds yet, so let's talk about that right now. In Horizon 4, your car's sound never really changed much from stock. If you added the exhaust, I think it made it a bit louder. Obviously, if you added a turbo or a supercharger, it would add those sounds in there a little bit, but really the only way to change the sound of your car was to engine swap it to an entirely different engine. And then it would just sound like every other car with that same engine swap. That is no longer the case in Horizon 5. The upgrades you put on cars now actually change the car's sound how it should. An exhaust isn't just necessarily going to make the car louder, it's going to make it sound different based on whether or not you put on a sport, a street, or a race exhaust, just like it actually would. Even different tire compounds and widths are going to change the way the tires sound when you're sliding around or just gripping around a corner. Putting on race cams is going to make the car sound lopey at low revs and then smoother at high revs. A street intake might make the car sound a little bit more breathy on early acceleration, and different turbos and superchargers are going to have different whines and blow-off valve sounds, depending not only on whether or not you chose the street or sport or whatever, but also depending on what car they're installed on. And this is what's so incredible, is that the game is now going to know if you've got a V8 in an American car or a V12 in a Euro hypercar, and it will adjust the sound based on that. So no longer will you hear the same racing V12 sound in every car or the same V8 sound in every car. Each and every car is going to sound unique, not only of course based on what the car is, but also based on what upgrades you have applied. So two people with the same car but different upgrades are going to have different sounding cars. And if your buddy rolls up in game with a new turbo on his Mark IV Supra, you're going to be able to hear that on your end. This is going to add so much more meaning to upgrading and building cars in Horizon 5, and it's so much more realistic. I mean, I've made mod choices on my cars in real life purely based on how much better it's going to make the car sound, not even worrying about performance. And if I want to do that in Horizon 5 now, I can. So with all of these systems combined, the granular synthesis for car sounds, the way the different environments are going to react to those car sounds, the way modifying your car is going to change how the car sounds. I mean, Playground Games has heard the community's complaints, and they are delivering above and beyond here. I mean, let's just listen to this Viper. Alright, so enough gushing about the audio here. I do want to talk quick about some little hidden pieces of info in this new footage we've got. First off, you should take a look at the bottom left here near the PI. There's a new category called off-road. Now this might not mean much, but what this could mean is that they are now factoring off-road versus on-road into PI calculation, which would be awesome. It definitely looks like they've been working on rebalancing things out for Horizon 5 as far as the meta goes, and on top of that, it does look like the physics have been improved, because you can see drivetrain flex when they rev the engine, and that has apparently been reintroduced in Horizon 5. Now, we were able to see that engine revving in this upgrade screen because again, in the bottom left, you can see there's a button now to rev the engine, which fits perfectly with the new upgrade system affecting audio. So you'll be able to switch back and forth and see how different the car sounds based on what upgrades you have applied. Now, also this is relevant to the upgrading, but we didn't actually get footage about this. This was asked in the dev Q&A towards the end of the stream. There are 500 new engine swaps coming in Horizon 5. The racing V12 meta is dead. There's going to be way more variety now. The engine swaps are going to make sense. So for example, an Asian car would get an Asian V10 swap and a Euro car would get a Euro V10 swap. And I also want to point out that this scene looks so realistic because ray tracing will also be active in the upgrade windows, like you see here. This is actually even a player house that they're not fully showing off, but here's our little tease of it. Alright folks, that's just about going to do it for this video. They did mention that the next episode of Horizon 5 Let's Go is going to be about the map, about Mexico itself. So we'll see if that episode can match the excitement I felt watching this one. Again, this episode just blew me away. I was not expecting them to focus this much on Horizon 5's car sounds, and they did, and it shows. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.